I don't know. How long would it take you to drink that many international coffees to be able to make a holder for it? The concept is all there as a parts thing. I bought it at auction. I don't think anybody ever used it. I would like to put knobs on these and paint these up. Keep this wood, see if I can get that cleaned off. It's got pegboard on the back. It's got metal shelving. So we're just going to set that off to the side. And I would like to take every single one of the lids off of these. And I would like to paint them up so it doesn't look like coffee tins. Oh, I guess they did use it as a parts for a little bit. Something's in there. Okay. I don't know if that's rust or from the old international coffee or not, but we'll wash it up. Don't know how well this will sand, but I'd like to sand the outside a little bit to get paint to stick. So as far as cleanup goes, I used a little bit of lemon oil. I tried to use a heat gun to release the sticky because almost all of them have the price tag on. Anywhere from $1.99 to $2 something. So they will go through and I'll wipe them all down with alcohol to get them to clean. Another thing that's going to help the paint stick to these is priming them with some shellac. So I have Sweet Pickins milk paint in basil and Cheshire that I used on a previous product on another video that I had a lot left over. So I thought, okay, this is what I'm this is what I'm using it for. So especially since you're not going to see a ton of the tin, just the front. And I'm probably going to need 2 coats because I didn't spray this. I didn't want to take the time to spray the bottom, paint off all the bottoms on all these. And so we'll just go in with 2 coats. But the shellac is grabby and it's helping grab onto that paint. I mean, it is a primer, not a colored primer, but it's doing exactly what I need it to do. Help me, because it's not soaking in. It's just laying on the metal here. More to go. Good to go. When you finish the first one or the last one, the first one is dry and now it's time to go back over. And yes, it needs 2 coats. Not easy. So we're going to seal this in with weather defense. I have to measure my dot. Got my drill. Yep, we're putting knobs on these. I'm just praying for the best because of that rounded. It's not as easy to get through. do, I'm just going to try to match up. My knobs on, I'm going to go ahead and go in with some aging wax. Even though I've sealed it in, there is some crackling and crazing. And so that'll just bring out that. Not that you're going to see it all too awful much, but it makes me feel better. Definitely a labor of love, because now I have these little thrifted knobs. I had enough for all of them, and now I need to screw them all in. I'm hoping it's just get it cleaned off, but it just has been sitting for a while. Maybe some steel wool for whatever little droppings, we're going to call them droppings, are on there. This is the finest grit, so if you have little things like that so you don't mar up your wood. That seemed to work, didn't it? Get those little droppings off there. Yes. There is one little boo-boo here. Just going to use some Howard's Restore. At least darken up. This, you know, this was a shop piece, so just liven it back up. That's a nice piece of salvage wood, isn't it? Very nice, very nice. It actually was on one of the posts that was no longer attached to the bottom portion of a kneel post that it was on your front porch. Would have made it way too heavy to ship, and then having to reattach it. Though I got to go in and I got some nails I got to get out. But I thought I could make a square riser. Why not? It's perfect. Other than those. Sometimes just hammering them in different directions. I don't think that they're going to pop back out. Maybe. Oh, we're lucky. Doesn't matter. This is a salvage piece. We're not looking for perfection. We're just looking to get this nail out. Okay, happy to know that I can pull them through and I have to try to break them off. So, got them all out. 2 broke off. The rest came out. That's awesome. I'm going to fill the holes in, not all the imperfections, but just the major holes in with some Bondo because it's quick drying. The legs, I have this random piece of salvage. I only have one. A lot of times that happens. But I think if I set the depth of my bandsaw, I should have 2, 2, 2, 2. So I should be able to make 4 legs. And if I put the guard on the bandsaw, I should be able to cut them so it's all even. And because I might have short-term memory loss, I am going to go ahead and then just put a piece of tape in the middle of the two so I don't cut wrong. Okay, we should be dry enough to sand. I got these all cut, took them to the sander, tried to make sure that they were all even. Sanded as flat as I could. There is a little lip, so one's, and then one's a little bit. I think they make a fun detail. Still drying. I use tape to kind of hold them on there. I'm going to pre-drill some holes. Pre-drilled holes, very long screw. There, we know it's in there. Use a little bit of air dry clay in the wood to fill where I just screwed those in. I wanted to get them glued, made sure they were on there. Had to offset this one. There must have been metal or something in there I was deciding to touch. Okay, I'm going to seal everything in with shellac, even though the bottom's nice, you know. I don't know. No, because I want to paint the legs. So I am going to seal everything in with some shellac, including the leggies. Now that they're securely on there. It's flour sack. There's just something about white salvaged. I'm a beast. No, not kind of. This is a beast. So I'm going to do a little bit of extra bond here and there. Looking for some extra chippy crackly, especially on these little edges where they're, I don't know, there's probably 20 coats of paint. 1, 2, 3. You can't even count them, y'all. There's so much paint on those little edges. It's fun. Dry it with a heat gun. Okay, I'm going to paint the underneath first. So I'm just going to paint that, the class, just the white. Need to add a little bit more because it does thicken up as it's sitting. A little bit more liquid, a little water. You know me, I always try to get my hard areas first, get them out of the way. Okay. Go back around my legs because I know Now that they're flipped this way, you're going to see unpainted areas. I'm going to take some of the Sweet Pickins beeswax. And I'm just going to rub them on those corners where I put the extra bond. Just want to make it look more salvaged than it is, but we don't want it all to chip off either. There's that. When you put it on thick like this, it's like, do you put it on thick and then wait hours for it to dry, even sometimes overnight? Or do you put it on thin and do multiple coats? You do you, whatever works for you. And every project always seems to be a little bit different than the next. I had people ask, can you make a list of what you do in order of you do it? Well, every project I probably do something a little bit different because the item calls for something a little bit different. So sometimes I shellac, sometimes I extra bond, sometimes I use wax, sometimes I don't use wax, sometimes I forget the heck what I'm doing, and then I don't do what I originally intended to do. There's that. You just never know how it's going to react, and it did some amazing crackle crazing. So I'm going to take the sander, we're going to sand it, make it look more salvaged than it already does. I'm going to go ahead and seal this in with weather defense. It's supposed to look salvaged. So if a big chunk came off, a big chunk came off.